Okay. So what are the challenges that your person is facing, or bringing, either the challenges that they're facing, that's existed within themselves and that they're coming to the fore inside this relationship, or the relationship dynamics are creating more challenges. So feeling kind of left out in the cold. I just wonder if you're really thinking about leaving, or you've cheated on someone. Give a new opportunity, and and the other person, um, whether it's the person that you're having an affair with, or the person that you're married to or in a relationship with, whoever that other person is, only is feeling left out in the cold, alone, kind of hobbling around out there, without your support. And I don't think they're able actually to let this wheel turn, let the wheel of fortune turn, and make a choice and speak their truth. I think there's a Three of Wands here, but I don't see there's no person with a sword anywhere. It's like nobody's talking. It might be intense feelings, or it seems like no one's really talking about what's going on. And here she is, speaking her truth. This is the card for the purpose of this relationship, which I feel is that y'all both need to learn to speak your truth, and free yourself. This is so for me, she's up in the clouds, and there is kind of like to me, this looks like the trees are kind of blowing. So there's winds of change, or something needs to be said. Calmly, matter of factly, honestly, almost like brutally honest, that this is about truth telling. And sometimes affairs begin because we're not telling our truth, and we don't maybe even feel confident enough in that, or don't want to lose something that makes us feel safe and secure, like a home, but there's not quite enough satisfaction. So, a person can step out instead of asking for more, asking for more of that passion, asking for more of that playfulness. And so I think the purpose of this relationship is to teach one or both of you, to ask one or both of you to learn to speak your truth. I just don't feel like she's wishy-washy. And I do think she's intuitive. And depending on how you want to look at it, it can feel harsh, but it's the truth. And we owe people the truth. You know, we owe people the truth so that they're free to choose what they want to do and how they're going to respond. Yeah, I think there's a past life connection here and some healing. Okay. So, what does Cancer need to do to grow or to learn a lesson, their whatever lesson is being here to be the Queen of Swords in truth and transform this from a painful situation to a healing or life lesson or growth opportunity. Does Cancer need to do, or does Cancer need to learn? Yeah. Wow, this is the third time this has come up. It was at the bottom of the deck twice, and now here. Let the wheel turn. Accept that the wheel turns, that there is life and death, and the wheel is always going to turn, and it's, sometimes you're going to be the person at the bottom of the wheel and not feeling so great, and sometimes you're going to be the person up at the top of the wheel, just to keep it kind of dumbed down. But that is, it's how life works. And whether it's karmic, right? Like maybe you were the one who was cheated on and now you feel guilty or upset or for being the cheater in this life. Like it's kind of a balancing, right? This is a 10, so an ending and is a new beginning. A new beginning comes from an ending. The Sphinx is up at the top of the wheel, and all the animals are reading from like these books, and the Sphinx has the sword. And when I see that sword, I always kind of think of like truth, of a higher truth. And he's sitting on top of the wheel. The snake is kind of coming down from the clouds. I probably, there's just a lot of symbolism in here. But the way I'm going to say this, it's almost like yin yang. Like it's what something might be good in one situation and not so good in another. I mean, okay, so let's just say we stick with the scenario that, you stepped out. On one hand, no, is that, who you want to be or what you wanted to do? No, not necessarily. But from another perspective, from a higher perspective, it could be that it's freeing you and the other person that you're unhappy with, to go find happiness elsewhere. And, maybe the next time something comes around like this, you will speak your truth, and you will speak and act speak before you act in secret. Just as example. Okay, so I think your lesson is to learn to accept the cycles of life, and that the wheel turns, and sometimes you're up and sometimes you're down. Okay? Don't be heavy on yourself or on the other person. And what does the other person need to do or to learn in order to grow through this relationship? Whoa. Okay. Well, the other person got the King of Swords. Needs to express their truth in a just, fair, balanced, confident, intuitive, practical, wise, manner. Because if this is what I think. If this person is the person that you're in relationship with, and he's closest to the Three of Hearts, which is why I'm saying that. And then following up is this younger energy here, water energy. If this is your person that we're talking about, that's hurt and is going to feel left out in the cold, this person kind of acts without thinking in many ways. I mean, he does. Don't get it too twisted, but on the darker side, they can say things and act really without thinking. Whereas this person speaks very wisely, is much more practical, isn't impulsive, is more balanced in kind of the way they make judgments. They're like the higher energy of the swords. So the queen is kind of like my truth is the truth. And he's like, well, I'm open to get more clarity here, to be more fair. Like, it's not, I hope I'm making sense. So I just really think, like I said earlier, there's no real communication in this situation. And I think that's what y'all are learning, that you have to be better at communicating and communicating your own truths. And when things end or die or are no longer working, you have to say it. You have to speak it. You have to acknowledge it. You have to accept it. Yelling again. Okay, and so the highest possible outcome right now for you, Cancer. Highest possible outcome for you right now in this relationship. Okay. Highest possible outcome. And my readings are always looking at things sort of like from a higher perspective, okay? So let's think about that. It's funny. Ace of Swords and the Star at the bottom of the deck. First Ace of Swords, and then healing. Queen of Wands. We've got the 10 of Wands. We've got the Page of Swords. And we've got the 7 of Wands. The highest possible outcome right now for this situation. I think, there could be some gossiping going on, or just, again, since you didn't communicate and you weren't communicating, the two of you don't have, or maybe your other person doesn't have the full story. And I think you might be willing to do some more work to continue to struggle within this a little bit longer in order to become clearer in what's going on, what happened, how did this happen, why did this happen, and sort of defend, for both of you to be able to present what was going on with each of you and defend, that truth. I think the highest possible outcome would be for the two of you to allow the other person to speak their truth and, to listen to them so that you can learn. And you can still maintain your position on, what happened, what's your truth about it. But you can speak You can speak from a more calm, cool, detached perspective. Thank you. I couldn't figure out the word detached. From a more detached position, and maybe in that healing can begin. And where this relationship ends up, I don't know. But for right now, I think that's why you can't quite quit. Like, some things haven't been said. There are truths that haven't been told, and pain that is, kind of lingering. And we got solar plexus and base chakra cards. Okay. So courage, strength of will, ability to take action, and creating safety, stability, passion in your life. I'm not going to take that as your cards, but those just fell out. I think emotions have run high, and I think that if you were to act from your, highest self and really wanted to do the best you can right now, it would be to really detach, get control of your emotions, and give each other a chance to speak their truth, speak their hurt, speak, about what was going on, and go from there. So let's get a oracle card from the John Holland Psychic Tarot for the Heart deck for Cancer. Okay, rebuild. So this card equates with the Tower. At the bottom of the deck is the Empress card, so nurturing. So here's what I'm going to say. The Tower can come down. The Tower is here, okay? Sometimes the Tower needs to come down. The structure that has been built was on shaky ground and no longer working. And in this case, in a relationship, and it needs to be dismantled so that it can be rebuilt stronger. So if it's a marriage or a relationship that you were in a commitment that was no longer satisfactory, and rather than working on it, you kind of went off to the side. The Tower has come. Like, everything's crumbled. But this could be a new opportunity by speaking your truth, by talking in detached, get them high emotions out of there, and nurturing this. You could potentially rebuild this relationship to something stronger. And at the same time, it could be that something needs to just be let go of, and you go off and build a new life that's more satisfactory for yourself. But let me just, there's potential there. So it's 16, which is 7. 7 for me is, there's always spiritual potential in a 7. Let me see what the book says here. Rebuild. collapse, expose, create, pretense, revelation, and awareness. The dynamics of a relationship can often be complicated. The longer you've been in a relationship, the more complex it can be. Relationships begin to grow many layers consisting of joys, sorrows, honesty, and duplicity. As these layers build on top of each other, it becomes increasingly difficult to know what the core of the relationship is based on. Exactly. What was once love may now appear to be merely tolerance or worse. Even in good relationships, you may find yourself growing apart from the other person. In either case, the weight of these layers can cause a relationship to collapse. Now may be a good time to start fresh with one or more of your relationships. Peel off the layers one by one, cut away any pretense, and see what may be revealed. Cut away any pretense. It's the whole purpose of this, you all coming together in a relationship. Find the core of the relationship and decide if it's still what you want and what you find attractive. If so, then discard the old layers and consciously create a new commitment with this person or persons, one based on truth, honesty, and love. Use the awareness gained by this exercise to steer the relationship on a clear, steady course. The same applies to rebuilding the relationship with yourself. Okay, so if you decide this isn't working, then you get to start on a relationship with yourself. Examine your many layers of joys and sorrows, successes and failures, and think about how they're affecting your ability to love yourself and therefore to find love. Expose the false voices that tell you you're unworthy and silence them. When you do, your true value will be revealed. Rebuild your life around unconditional love for yourself and invite in unconditional love for others. Affirmation, I cut to the core of my relationships and consciously rebuild them. I mean, how many, it's like you had no swords energy, no speaking your truth energy, and then suddenly it was like, well, why are we here? What are we here to learn? Oh, to tell the truth, to speak our truth, right? Cut through the BS and the silence. I'm just getting so excited. Okay, and so what energy, wisdom, guidance, and/or guidance from the animal spirits can Cancer utilize or integrate to help them as they move through this place, this relationship? What wisdom, energy, or guidance from the animal spirits can Cancer integrate? Cancer. Ooh. Oh. Oyster. Little clam, okay? Water. Cancer is a water sign. Down in the dark. And the oyster, you know, the little irritant and the irritation that a grain of sand or whatever it is, it's an irritant in there. But as they start to heal or create some kind of healing or whatever coating, it creates that little pearl in there. And so I feel like you could really grow and create something amazing from learning this lesson. But it's also about opening up and speaking your truth and saying, this is what I want and need, and this is what I have to give. And I'm not really willing to accept any less than that. This is, you know, this is no longer me. I mean, we grow and we kind of grow into a new us about every 10 years, so they say. So It's okay if you or your partner grow, but you don't want to become complacent. You want to be safe and comfortable in a relationship, but you don't want to become complacent and boring and take it for granted. But all right, let's read. Patient, secret keeper, hiding inner treasures. The focus and determination of the oyster is unmatched. Anything an oyster personality puts their mind to, they achieve with grace and charm. The only problem is oyster types often take their inner gifts for granted. They become shy or doubtful, and this can lead to withdrawing or protecting their deepest desires in life's work. Okay? I'm going to wall up. I'm going to protect myself here rather than ask for what I want. I'll just keep it. When the oyster card appears, it's important to reveal your inner treasures. What is it you've been hesitant to share? The world is waiting to see. And currently your world right here is all like up in this. When in balance, feels blessed, generous, and masterful. When out of balance, reluctant, gripping, and clams up. To bring into balance, share something. There you go, Cancer. Wonderful. So I hope that was helpful to you. And honey, thank you for being here. And honey, be you. Your life matters. The things that you go through, the challenges in your life matter. They have a purpose. They're here to help you to grow and to heal so that the people that are closest to you also are enabled to grow and to heal, and that just keeps spreading out further and further and further. You know, we're all in this together. Don't be too hard on yourself. And thank you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for doing your healing and your work. Okay, until next time.